Last month, a customer brought me a Ford F-150 with 462,000 miles on the original engine. Original timing components, original internals, no rebuild, no engine swap. I assumed there had to be a mistake. Then I looked through the maintenance records, and I noticed something. It wasn't premium fuel, it wasn't expensive additives, it was one maintenance pattern I kept seeing on high-mileage Fords that just refused to die. I'm RJ, 20 years on Fords. Today, I'm showing you exactly what that pattern is. The problem with how most people change oil today. Modern drivers think synthetic oil changed everything. 10,000-mile intervals, oil life monitors, 30-minute quick lube appointments. Change the oil when the dashboard says, drive away, forget it. And I get it. The marketing is convincing. Better oil, longer intervals, less work. That's a compelling pitch. But after 2 decades working on high-mileage trucks, I kept noticing something. The ones crossing 300 and 400,000 miles almost never followed the maximum interval. And the trucks coming in at 150,000 miles needing major work almost always did. The oil life monitor doesn't know you sat in traffic for 40 minutes last Tuesday. It doesn't know that you towed a trailer through August heat. It doesn't know that you warmed the truck up 3 times last week in the cold. It doesn't know about the dusty job site access roads, or the extended idling, or the repeated short trips where the engine never fully reaches operating temperature. And I can't tell you how many engines I've opened that trusted a dashboard algorithm more than a maintenance schedule. The monitor is an estimate. It's not a measurement. It's the oil change equivalent of a fuel economy estimate. Useful as a reference, not reliable as a rule. The monitor tells you when oil is theoretically done, under average conditions. Most working trucks don't live average lives. Step 1, stop waiting for the monitor. 5,000 miles every time. The Ford F-150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost recommends oil changes up to 10,000 miles under ideal conditions. Ideal conditions means mostly highway driving, moderate temperatures, no towing, no extended idling, no short trips. Think about how often your truck actually lives in those conditions. Ford's own severe duty service schedule, which is in the owner's manual, not hidden anywhere, calls for oil changes every 5,000 miles or 6 months, whichever comes first. Severe duty includes towing or hauling regularly, extensive idling, extreme temperatures, frequent short trips, dusty environments. That describes most F-150s in actual use. The contractor truck sitting at a job site, idling. The truck that pulls a boat 6 weekends a year. The truck warming up in the driveway every winter morning. Severe duty is the baseline for most working trucks, not the exception. The customer with the 462,000-mile truck changed oil every 5,000 miles without exception. The records showed it going back to when the truck was new. Every 5,000 miles. 23 years. Not when it was convenient, not when the monitor said. Every 5,000 miles. That discipline is the foundation everything else is built on. Without it, none of the other steps matter much. 5,000 miles. Not when the monitor says, not when you get around to it. 5,000 miles every time. Step 2, never drain cold oil. This is the habit that separates old school mechanics from the quick lube mentality. Most shops change oil on cold engines because it's faster. Car comes in, plug comes out, oil drains while the tech moves to the next vehicle. Fast, efficient, and it leaves a meaningful percentage of the old contaminated oil behind. Cold oil is thick, it clings to surfaces, it sits in passages. When you drain a cold engine, you're leaving 10 to 15% of the old oil behind, coating the walls, sitting in the galleries, ready to mix with your fresh oil before the first mile. Hot oil flows freely. It carries contaminants in suspension. When you drain an engine that's been at full operating temperature, the oil pours out fast and takes the contamination with it. The difference between what drains from a cold engine and what drains from a warm one is visible. The method is simple. Before changing oil, drive for 10 to 15 minutes. Real driving. Get the engine up to temperature and keep it there. Highway is ideal. Then, drain immediately while it's hot. Work carefully because hot oil burns, but what comes out of a warm engine after a proper drive is significantly cleaner than what comes out of an engine that sat overnight. I started doing this on my own vehicles years ago, after watching what the drain looked like either way. The difference convinced me. You can see the contamination that a cold drain leaves behind by comparison. That contamination doesn't disappear, it circulates with the fresh oil, it deposits on internal surfaces, and over thousands of miles it contributes to the sludge buildup that accelerates timing chain wear. Timing chain jobs on EcoBoost trucks start around $2,500. A warm drain costs nothing extra except 10 minutes of driving. The best high-mileage Ford owners I know don't schedule an oil change and drive to the shop. They do a real drive first, then drain. Hot oil drains completely. Cold oil stays behind. That difference compounds over hundreds of thousands of miles. Over the years, I kept getting asked the same questions. What maintenance schedule do I actually follow on high-mileage Fords? So, I put together the Ford Longevity Blueprint, oil intervals, mileage checkpoints, and the maintenance mistakes I see right before expensive problems show up. Link in the description. Step 3. The filter is not a commodity. I had a customer bring in a 3.5 EcoBoost that started developing cam phaser noise around 130,000 miles. Oil changes were regular, full synthetic every time. Service records were solid. When I started asking questions, I found out he'd been buying the cheapest filter available every visit. The logic was simple. A filter is a filter. They all do the same thing. They don't. The cam phasers on a 3.5 EcoBoost are variable valve timing components that depend on clean, consistent oil pressure to function correctly. The filter is the last line of defense between the oil and those phasers. A filter that bypasses too early, uses inconsistent media, or degrades before the oil change interval is over isn't neutral. It's a slow tax on the most expensive components in the engine. The repair on those phasers started at $2,200. The difference between a quality filter and the cheapest option on the shelf is about $8 per oil change. Motorcraft is Ford's own filter brand, engineered for Ford engines and calibrated to the bypass pressure specs Ford designed for the EcoBoost. It's not flashy and it's not the cheapest. It's the filter built for the engine. I've pulled engines at high mileage that ran Motorcraft filters their entire life. The passages are clean. The phasers move freely. The internals look the way they should. I've pulled engines that ran whatever was convenient. The difference is visible without magnification. If you're not running Motorcraft, run a quality synthetic media filter. Wix XP, Purolator Boss, Mobile One Extended Performance, but don't grab the $4 filter because it fits. The filter matters more on a turbocharged direct injection engine than almost anything else I work on. The cam phaser repair starts at $2,200. The filter upgrade costs $8 more per change. That math is easy. Step 4. Understand what your truck actually is. Here's what shocked me after years of looking at maintenance records on high-mileage Fords. Almost every F-150 owner thinks they drive under normal conditions. Almost none of them do. Let me guess. You tow a boat or a trailer 6 times a year. You idle in a drive-thru. You warm the truck up in the winter. You sit in traffic on the way to work. You haul a loaded bed a few times a month. Congratulations! Ford already considers you severe duty. That's not an insult. It's just what the owner's manual says. Ford's severe duty service schedule includes towing or hauling regularly, extensive idling, extreme temperatures, hot summers, cold winters, frequent short trips under 5 miles where the engine never reaches full operating temperature, stop-and-go city driving. That describes most F-150s in real use, not fleet trucks running 20 hours a day, not commercial vehicles in extreme industrial environments, just normal working trucks doing normal truck things. Severe duty isn't a category for exceptional use. It's a description of how these trucks actually live. And for most owners, it's been true since the day they drove off the lot. Severe duty also means using oil that meets Ford's WSS M2C945A or WSS M2C946A specification, which is printed in the owner's manual on a page most people have never read. The spec exists because not every synthetic is formulated the same way, and the EcoBoost has specific lubrication requirements a generic oil may not fully meet. Most F-150 owners think they drive normal. Ford says otherwise. The maintenance schedule should match what the truck actually does, not what you wish it did. Step 5. Open the hood once a month. I had a customer tow in a 3.5 EcoBoost that was almost 2 quarts low on oil. Not 1 quart, 2. He'd been running full synthetic on schedule, changing at the right intervals, using a good filter. Everything looked right on paper, but he assumed modern trucks warn you before damage happens. They don't always. Oil pressure warning lights are not oil level gauges. They activate when pressure drops below a critical threshold, which often means the damage is already starting. By the time a warning light tells you the oil is low, the engine has likely been operating with insufficient lubrication for longer than you'd want. The 3.5 EcoBoost can consume oil. Not everyone does, and not everyone does it at the same rate. But under towing load, in high heat, with an engine that has real mileage on it, consumption can happen between oil changes. A quart low on a healthy engine is manageable. 2 quarts low on an engine running hard is a different conversation. The customer with the 462,000-mile F-150 checked the dipstick once a month. He wrote it in the same notebook as the oil change records. Not because something was wrong, because catching something before it becomes wrong is how you get to 400,000 miles. Running 2 quarts low on a 3.5 EcoBoost under towing load isn't just a low oil situation. It's reduced pressure to the turbo bearings, reduced lubrication film at the cam phasers, and increased heat at every friction surface. If that condition continues long enough, you're looking at turbo replacement starting around $3,000 on top of whatever else the low pressure damaged. The dipstick check takes 45 seconds. Turbo replacement takes several days and thousands of dollars. Pull the dipstick once a month. If the level is dropping faster than expected, that's information worth having before it turns into a repair bill. If it's holding steady, you just confirm the engine is healthy. Most engines that die from oil starvation had owners who never opened the hood. 45 seconds a month is the cheapest insurance on a high mileage engine. Step 6. Let a hot engine cool down before you shut it off. I had a customer who towed a large camper from Texas to Colorado every summer. Beautiful truck, well-maintained, strong engine, solid service records. Around 140,000 miles, the turbo started showing shaft play. When I asked about his habits after towing, he told me he'd pull into camp, park the truck, and shut it off. Drive complete, engine off. He'd never thought about what happens inside the turbo in the 2 minutes after that. The turbochargers on the 3.5 EcoBoost spin at speeds that generate significant heat. Oil flowing through the turbo bearings carries that heat away and keeps the shaft lubricated. When the engine is running, oil circulates constantly. When you shut it off after a long hard pull, coming off the highway, arriving after towing, finishing a long grade in summer heat, oil circulation stops immediately, but the turbo is still hot. The shaft is still spinning down, and the oil trapped in the bearing passages is now sitting in intense heat with no flow. That oil breaks down fast. The carbon deposits that form on turbo bearing surfaces from this kind of heat soak are the single most common cause of premature turbo wear I see on otherwise well-maintained EcoBoost trucks. The fix is 2 to 3 minutes at idle after any hard drive before shutdown. Not 5 minutes, not a long cool down routine, just enough for the turbo to spin down and the oil to carry some heat away before circulation stops. Old diesel truck owners learned this habit decades ago. It's standard practice in commercial trucking. EcoBoost owners driving a truck that cost $50,000 often have no idea it matters. The trucks that reach 400,000 miles without turbo work are almost always the ones whose owners learned this early. 2 to 3 minutes at idle after hard work. That's what the turbo needs before the oil stops moving. After 20 years wrenching on trucks, I don't think engines reach 500,000 miles because of one magic trick. The trucks making it to 400,000 and 500,000 miles are not owned by lucky people. They're owned by boring people doing boring things consistently. Ford Longevity Blueprint is below if you want the exact schedule. I'll see you in the next one.